justice, no. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Accountability. Justice, accountability. Justice, accountability. Justice, accountability. Justice, accountability. Justice, accountability. Justice, accountability.
We're having this march, a walk to Albany on behalf of justice for the wrongfully incarcerated. We're trying to seek legislative change for those people who've been incarcerated wrongfully. There are a number of people out here who are with me today who come from different aspects of the incarceration movement, but we all have the same goal, and that is justice and accountability for those people who are going around and incarcerating people wrongfully. We're hoping that this march helps to focus more of an awareness and an energy and a push for the legislative change that we need, because families are being destroyed by their loved ones being placed into those types of places of incarceration unjustly. And then when you come out with the clothes on your back, you're not really getting any kind of services, you're not really getting any mental health help, you're not getting housing, you're not getting jobs. We want that to be changed, and we want those people whose families have been disturbed by this motion of being incarcerated to also be able to be compensated for the time that they spent.
And what brought you to this work?
What brought me to this work was in 1989, my son, Yusuf Salam, was wrongfully convicted of a crime he did not do, and that is the Central Park 5. He is a member of that group, and we are trying to seek justice for those people who are amongst us who are in that group. And others. Don't forget the and others.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, so my name is Yusuf Salam. I'm one of the Central Park 5. Originally, this case that made us the Central Park 5 happened in 1989. It was the Central Park jogger case. Donald Trump took out full-page ads calling for the reinstatement of the death penalty. And ultimately, if he had his way, they would have probably come to our homes, drug us from our homes, and hung us from trees in Central Park. It was like really that kind of tension going on back then. Like I was telling you before as well, one of the things that you could see clearly in terms of the differences in the way that they handled our case and they handled a white person's case or white people's cases, for instance, the young man that was murdered in Bensonhurst. You know, when they came in and arrested them and was bringing them back and forth to the courthouse, they had them in full bulletproof shields all the way over their bodies.
This is white defendants accused of killing a black man.
Yes, indeed. And in our case, we had to go basically to and from court, you know, with nothing shielding us from anything. People hated us. People wanted us dead. You know, it was a very tense, very angry, very negative time for us. You know, it took a tremendous toll. Even my mother, who's here with us today for the Justice for the Wrongfully Incarcerated March, she developed stage 4 cancer, and many times she thought that was as a result of all of the things that she was going through with regards to me and being really my greatest advocate, you know, standing up for justice and making sure that I didn't go down without fighting, you know. Yeah.
And you were only 15 when you were arrested.
Yeah, I was only 15, you know.
All of your colleagues, your co-defendants, were also teenagers.
Yeah, we ranged in age from 14 to 16. 2 individuals were 14, I was 15, another individual was 15, and then Corey Wise was 16. And the worst part is that Corey Wise went to jail for 13 years. And then when they found out that we didn't do this, it was really like, oh, sorry. You know, okay, well, sending us back out to the streets and us trying to fend for ourselves and trying to figure it all out. You know, justice doesn't happen like that. You know, that's one of the worst things in the world that you could do to a person. You know, but in my case, like I said, one of the greatest things that I had was my mom standing there for me and with me and allowing me, when I was wavering in any way, form, or fashion, I could lean on her or lean on my sister or my brother for support, you know, and that made all the difference. Yeah.
Imagine. So you were telling me earlier that the poem you recited a few minutes ago was actually just the latest in a long line. You're quite an accomplished poet, about to come out with your first poetry book, but Tell us about that first rap that you gave at your actual sentencing
Oh
hearing.
man! So that rap that I gave was called "I Stand Accused," and really it was my last, I think, fight, my last word, I think, that I had in order to be able to say anything. And so I said, you know what, I got to stand up and say something, and those words is what came. And I see that we're about to start this march right now. Yes, so we're gonna have to begin this trek all the way up to Albany, and we hope to see you in Albany.
Okay, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
My name's Jeffrey Deskovic. I served 16 years in prison prior to being exonerated through DNA evidence 10 years ago. From the point I was released, I've been speaking about wrongful convictions, doing media interviews, meeting with elected officials, going to legislative hearings, both as an individual advocate, then also later on when I started a nonprofit organization designed to free people, and then also in collaboration with other entities that do the anti-wrongful conviction work, including the Innocence Project. And although I've been at it for 10 years, and that group and many others have been at it much longer than that, long before I was ever freed, we can never seem to make any progress. It's a shame that even though we know coerced false confessions has been the cause of wrongful convictions in 25% of the cases, we still can't get videotaped interrogations. It's a shame that we know that prosecutorial misconduct is so rampant that the prosecutors get away with their misconduct no matter how egregious it is. They can withhold evidence of innocence, they can threaten witnesses, they can threaten to take away family members, they can suborn perjury. If it all happens after an arrest has been made, then they're shielded. They don't face any criminal penalties. They have what's called prosecutorial immunity, so they can't be held accountable civilly. It's a shame that all these things are known, yet we haven't been able to get the Commission on Prosecutor Conduct passed yet, which you'll see is on the banner right here. We have the bill number 701131, Senate Bill 24. We need to get these measures passed. We need to have better identification procedures, with misidentification being the cause of wrongful conviction in 75% of the cases. We need the equal access to DNA testing, the data bank. We need to have reintegrative assistance for exonerees. I was released after 16 years. I was inside from 17 to age 32. I was released with nothing. It took 5 years before I was compensated. I nearly was into a homeless shelter. They just released me with, just like as if I was an animal, reintroducing me back into the wild. So that's why I'm marching, and that's why we're here.
Yusef?
The revolution will not be televised. I can remember when that statement made me sad inside. Too young to be in it. Now I couldn't even see it. Why? Why couldn't the revolution be televised? The last poets, Gil Scott-Heron. As I grew up, I began to see. They left theirs, and I too wanted to leave a mark on history. A man in half, and I wanted to bask in that task that set men free. But a revolution, the revolution, is where I knew I had to be. The revolution will not be televised. They didn't want to display the victory of those quote-unquote lesser men. The revolution will not be televised. Smile. I know, because I am the revolution. And just remember, all of those eyes are you that's reading it, so you are your answer that you seek. And we march for justice for all of those that have not been able to get justice. We're here to stand for them.
All right. Now you know. Now Jeff said how long he had been here. I've been out here on this front since 1989.
Yeah.
Many times when people like Jeff and myself and Yusef and Shabaka is over here in the crowd, and there's probably a few more out here. Come on over here, Shabaka. He's trying to be shy. That's what prison will do to you. It'll make you not want to talk. Okay? Now, when you're in these kind of situations, you need your family members to hold steady, because nobody is able to speak for you when you're behind bars. No one is coming in saying, well, what do you think? You need somebody on the outside to hold your banner, to push your agenda, and that's what I was doing since 1989. I haven't stopped. Is it 89? Was that when it was?
1989, yep.
Oh my God, and I'm older now and I'm
27
still
years.
moving. Let's hear something from Steve. Over there, stop.
My name is Steve, yep. I'm with the Stop Mass Incarceration Network. I'm also a supporter of the Revolutionary Communist Party. Let me start with this, and I'm going to be short about it. The question here that we're facing today is not just a question of people being killed by police. It's not just a question of people being wrongly incarcerated. We're talking about a genocide that's coming down in this country right now. And the challenge is, are we going to be like the good Germans, like the German people were when the Jewish people were hauled away? Because the wrongly incarcerated, well, frankly, let's get down to the basic nits and grits. Wrongly incarcerated means also they're wrongly convicted. And especially when we're looking at today, what's going down, stop and frisk, broken windows, okay? The criminalization, demonization, particularly of black and brown communities, and also immigrants who are forced into this country. The challenge is here, and we support what Brother Youssef said, because frankly speaking, let's be frank about it. This country is not only messed up, let's look at what's going down with Trump, okay? Unleashing a reactionary social base. We need a revolution, okay? We need a revolution because fundamentally that's what humanity needs. But at the same time, short of that, we need to call on people to step out to build the greatest resistance possible. And to salute Sister Salam, and I knew Sister Salam back in the day, organizing around police brutality. We need to salute Sister Salam, Brother Salam, in terms of initiating this because it needs to put a spotlight on this question. So with that, we need to not only stop mass incarceration, police terror, we need to actually put down the question and we need to build the most determined resistance that's necessary right now, and don't get deterred by people like Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, and most especially, you've got to draw a line on the question of fascism in this country. Thanks very much.
Innocent, right now. Free the innocent, right now. Free the innocent, now.
Okay, cool.
Now.
I told her
Double time. Okay.